There's a lie we've all been sold. A dangerous myth that success comes from talent, luck, or being in the right place at the right time. We scroll through social media and see overnight millionaires, instant fame, and effortless victories. But here's what they don't show you: the 4 a.m. alarms, the countless rejections, the nights spent working while others partied. Today, I'm going to share the one principle that separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's not sexy, it's not trendy, and it definitely won't go viral. But it's the only thing that has ever truly worked. And once you understand it, really understand it, your life will never be the same. In a world obsessed with shortcuts and instant gratification, we've forgotten the most fundamental truth about achievement. We live in an era where everyone wants the reward, but nobody wants the process. We celebrate the destination, but despise the journey. We applaud the victory, but ignore the grind that made it possible. But here's what successful people know that others don't: there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs one step at a time, one day at a time, one choice at a time. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent, intelligence, or luck. It's something far more basic, far more accessible, yet infinitely more challenging. It's the willingness to do what others won't, to work when others rest, to persist when others quit. This principle has built empires, transformed lives, and created legacies that last generations. It's not complicated, but it's not easy. It requires you to face uncomfortable truths about yourself, about your habits, and about what you're really willing to sacrifice for your dreams. Most people will hear this message and nod in agreement, then go back to their comfortable routines. But a few, perhaps you among them, will recognize this as the wake-up call they've been waiting for. Because deep down, you already know the truth. You've always known it. The question is, are you ready to act on it? Hard work is not just physical labor or long hours at the office. It's a mindset, a commitment, a way of life that permeates every decision you make. It's showing up when you don't feel like it, pushing through when every fiber of your being wants to quit, and maintaining focus when distractions are everywhere. In our modern world, we're constantly bombarded with stories of overnight success, viral sensations, and instant millionaires. But what we don't see are the years of preparation, the countless failures, the sleepless nights, and the relentless dedication that preceded those moments of triumph. Behind every overnight success is a person who worked in obscurity for years, owning their craft, building their skills, and refusing to give up when everyone else would have thrown in the towel. The truth is, hard work is unglamorous. It's not Instagram-worthy. It doesn't get likes or shares. It happens in the shadows, in the early morning hours, in the moments when no one is watching. It's the athlete training in an empty gym, the entrepreneur working on their business plan while their friends are out partying, the student studying while others sleep. It's choosing discomfort over comfort, growth over stagnation, and long-term success over short-term pleasure. This is why so few people truly commit to it. It's easier to make excuses, to blame circumstances, to wait for the right moment that never come. But here's what happens when you embrace hard work as a non-negotiable part of your life. You begin to transform, not just externally, in terms of achievements and success, but internally, in ways that are far more profound and lasting. Every time you choose to work instead of rest, to push instead of pause, to continue instead of quit, you're building something invaluable: character. You're developing mental toughness, emotional resilience, and a deep sense of self-respect that no amount of money can buy. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual, almost imperceptible at first. You might work for weeks or months without seeing significant results. This is where most people give up. They expect immediate returns on their investment of effort. And when those returns don't materialize quickly enough, they conclude that hard work doesn't pay off. But those who persist, who trust the process, who understand that success is a marathon, not a sprint, eventually reach a tipping point. Suddenly, all those hours of effort begin to compound. The skills they've developed, the relationships they've built, the reputation they've earned, it all starts to work in their favor. Opportunities appear that seemed impossible before. Doors open that were previously closed. And what once felt like an uphill battle becomes a momentum that carries them forward with increasing speed and power. The relationship between hard work and success isn't always linear. There will be setbacks, plateaus, and moments of doubt. There will be times when you question whether all this effort is worth it, when you see others seemingly achieving more with less effort. These are the moments that separate the truly committed from the merely interested. It's easy to work hard when you're motivated, when results are coming quickly, when everyone is cheering you on. But real character is revealed in the valleys, not the peaks. It's shown in how you respond to failure, how you handle rejection, and how you persist when progress seems invisible. This is where discipline becomes your greatest ally. Unlike motivation, which comes and goes like the weather, discipline is a choice you make regardless of how you feel. It's the decision to honor your commitments to yourself, to show up even when you don't want to do what needs to be done even when no one would blame you for taking a break. Discipline is what bridges the gap between goals and achievement, between dreams and reality. It's what allows you to maintain consistency over time. And consistency is the secret ingredient that makes hard work truly effective. Anyone can work hard for a day, a week, or even a month. But those who achieve lasting success are those who can maintain their effort over years and decades. One of the most overlooked aspects of hard work is its impact on self-esteem and confidence. When you consistently do what you say you're going to do, when you push through resistance and honor your commitments, something profound happens. You begin to trust yourself. This self-trust is different from the confidence that comes from external validation or natural talent. It's deeper, more stable, and completely within your control. Every time you complete a difficult task, every time you resist the temptation to quit, every time you choose the harder path, you're making a deposit in your confidence account. Over time, these deposits accumulate into an unshakable belief in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. This is why people who have built success through hard work often seem so grounded and secure. They've proven to themselves, through countless acts of discipline and perseverance, that they can be relied upon. They know that regardless of circumstances, they have the ability to work their way through any challenge. This creates a sense of peace and power that no amount of inherited wealth or natural talent can provide. It's earned, not given, and therefore can never be taken away. This internal transformation is perhaps the greatest reward of hard work, more valuable than any external success it might bring. In a noisy world where attention spans are short and distractions are endless, hard work becomes more than just effort. It becomes your anchor. It grounds you when everything else seems out of control. It gives you a direction when confusion clouds your mind. And most importantly, it helps you separate what is urgent from what is truly important. The discipline that builds through hard work sharpens your focus. When others are pulled in every direction, chasing trends and shortcuts, the person committed to effort stays centered. They learn to say no, not out of deprivation, but out of clarity. No to temporary comfort, no to meaningless distractions, no to anything that threatens their commitment to growth. And with every no to the irrelevant, there's a deeper yes to the meaningful, yes to purpose, yes to personal excellence. As the world speeds up around you, hard work slows you down just enough to ask the most powerful question. Is this taking me closer to who I want to become? Most people never stop to ask, but the disciplined do, because they know that their time, attention, and energy are finite. And instead of wasting it proving something to the world, they spend it building something within themselves. Because true achievement is never by accident. It is by consistent, deliberate, intentional action, often by those whom no one believed in, sometimes not even themselves. The grind is not glamorous. It strips you bare. It exposes your weaknesses, magnifies your excuses, and confronts you with the truth of who you really are. But it's also within that grind that you uncover strengths you never knew existed. When you rely on discipline instead of feelings, you train yourself to push harder, think clearer, and endure longer. Suddenly, what once felt impossible now becomes manageable. And this evolution doesn't just improve your results, it expands your identity. You stop seeing hard work as a burden and start seeing it as a gift, your greatest competitive edge. Because in a world where most rely on mood and motivation, your edge becomes unshakable consistency. You're no longer in a race with others. You're in a relentless pursuit to become better than you were yesterday. Every rep at the gym, every hour spent learning, every task done with intention. It all compounds, not instantly, but inevitably. And when progress finally catches up with your patience, you'll realize you didn't just build success. You built the version of you who's worthy of it. That's the secret. The work isn't just about outcomes. It's about transformation of your mindset, your standards, and your life. When you work hard for something, it changes your relationship with success. You no longer see achievement as a matter of chance or external approval. You see it as something deeply personal. Because when you earn your progress through sweat, focus, and persistence, it means more. It lasts longer, and it teaches you lessons that no book or motivator ever could. You learn that failure isn't final, that setbacks are setups, that every stumble is another step forward if you choose to keep going. You stop fearing falling behind because you've seen what you're capable of in the hardest moments. You know progress may be slow, but it's never meaningless. The late nights, early mornings, sacrifices, all of it shapes you. It builds credibility, not to impress others, but to earn your own trust. That's the true reward of effort. You walk taller, not because you've achieved more than others, but because you know the price you paid. And that self-respect is worth more than applause. It becomes a quiet confidence that speaks louder than any title or status. So while others chase praise, you chase improvement. And over time, that choice separates you, not just professionally, but personally. Because who you become in the process is far more valuable than anything you get at the end. There's a silence in hard work that most people never hear, a calm determination that doesn't need to make noise. It doesn't shout its worth or demand attention. It proves itself in actions, in results, in the way you carry yourself when no one is watching. True effort builds integrity, doing what's right, not what's easy. It creates internal alignment between your values and your actions. When you consistently choose the difficult path, not because someone told you to, but because you promised yourself you would, you become trustworthy in your own eyes. That internal accountability becomes fuel. You stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop lowering your standards for convenience. And something amazing happens. Your work starts speaking for you. Not through big announcements, but in small, consistent ways. The way people can count on you. The way you push past adversity. The way you stay steady under pressure. Success may still take time. Recognition may remain out of reach. But deep within, you'll know. You're not just chasing goals. You're becoming the type of person capable of achieving and sustaining them. This quiet strength, born out of effort, is rare, and in its rarity lies its power. Hard work is contagious, not just in how it inspires others, but in how it rewires your own thinking. The more effort you invest, the less tolerance you have for distractions. Your standards rise, your circle sharpens, your perspective changes. You start valuing time differently, spending it only on what fuels your growth. You stop looking for shortcuts and start embracing systems. You realize that endurance, not intensity, is the real game changer. And through that process, your emotional maturity grows. You quit blaming others. You stop avoiding discomfort. You deal with problems face first instead of looking for ways around them. Slowly, you stop being reactive and start becoming strategic. That's what hard work does. It teaches you how to work with your emotions, not be controlled by them. You become more grounded, less influenced by external noise. You begin to quiet the world around you so you can hear the voice within you. The voice that said, "Don't quit." The one that pushed you when everyone else backed down. The one that reminds you even now, The climb is slow, but it's sure. And one day, without needing to announce yourself, you'll stand on a summit that most people only dreamed of. Not because you were lucky, but because you were consistent. The greatest transformations often happen in silence, not when the world is cheering, but when no one is watching. When you wake up early, even though no one's expecting you. When you put in extra hours not for recognition, but because you said you would. These moments are invisible, but they are powerful beyond measure. They create a kind of personal integrity that glows quietly within you. You don't need to post about it, explain it, or justify it. You live it. And over time, that silent commitment begins to echo in how you carry yourself, in the calmness of your confidence, and in the strength of your resolve. It becomes who you are, not something you perform. And while others may still be chasing validation or shortcuts, you'll discover something far greater: satisfaction from within. Because effort puts value into everything you do. It changes how you see yourself. No longer dependent on praise or applause. Your identity becomes rooted in action, not in approval. You start realizing you don't have to prove your worth to the world when you've already proven it to yourself. That's what separates you. Not ego, not entitlement, just work. Pure, consistent, unstoppable work. There's a difference between wishing for success and becoming prepared for it. Many people want incredible outcomes, but haven't built the strength to carry them. That's what hard work does. It equips you not just for the opportunity, but for the responsibility that comes with it. Because success isn't just about having more, it's about handling more. Pressure, decisions, expectations, obstacles. And that capability doesn't appear overnight. It comes through repetition, through long hours, through falling and getting back up. That's why shortcuts are so dangerous. They deliver output without the inner growth to sustain it. It would be like handing keys to a powerful machine to someone who's never trained to drive. It's a recipe for disaster. But those who rise through effort, real, painful, honest effort, they grow into their future. They don't just achieve success, they embody it. They become discipline in action, resilience in motion. Their journey built them into someone who not only earned the reward, but can protect and expand it. That's why when the storms come, and they always do, they don't break, because they were built to last, brick by brick. Discipline is the difference between a short spark and a constant flame. Motivation can inspire, but discipline sustains. It keeps the momentum alive when your energy runs low. And unlike motivation, which is external, emotional, and often temporary, discipline is a decision, a personal contract you sign with yourself. It doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't care if it's hard. It just requires that you show up. And this simple act of showing up consistently, without drama or delay, is what separates the people who try from the people who achieve. Because the truth is, anyone can work when they're excited. But how you work when you're tired, discouraged, or unseen, that defines your destiny. Mastering discipline means training your mind to listen to your purpose, not your problems. And every time you act in alignment with your goals instead of your emotions, you're casting a vote in favor of the person you're becoming. Those votes build identity. Identify turns into belief, and belief shapes your results. So when others sit around waiting for motivation to strike, you already know you don't need lightning to strike. You are the storm. And you've built it one disciplined action at a time. Progress is rarely loud. It doesn't come with fireworks or applause. Often it feels like nothing's changing, like you're climbing but never reaching. But progress, real progress, happens in micro moments, in the small decisions, in the quiet hours, in doing the little things right over and over. Most people overlook this because they want results that shout, but the ones who understand the game, they stay silent and humble while their progress grows roots. They know that consistency is a superpower. It's not fancy, it's not exciting, but it works. When you choose to wake up early, to stick to the plan, to prioritize growth even when you don't see immediate payoff, that's progress. Every effort counts, even when it feels invisible. Because just like water shapes stone over time, your discipline is shaping your destiny, day by day. You don't need radical change overnight. That's not sustainable. What you need is reliable effort repeated consistently. That's not just how goals are achieved. That's how identities are built. And in the end, it's not the flashiest who win. It's the ones who refuse to stop showing up. The true strength of a person is tested when there's every reason to give up, and they keep going anyway. Not because they feel strong, but because they've trained themselves to act anyway. That kind of strength isn't visible, but it's extremely real, and it often shows up in the loneliest hours. When you're tired, when nothing is working, when doubt is screaming in your mind. That's when real grit reveals itself. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it's powerful. Grit, the courage to keep climbing when the world offers 1,000 reasons to stop, is what builds greatness. And just like muscles, this mental toughness grows through resistance, through showing up when it's hard, through staying when you want to leave, through saying just one more step, even when you're exhausted. This is what separates the average from the elite. Not gifts, not genes, not genius, just grit. The decision to keep going longer than most are willing to. The refusal to settle. The quiet belief that hard things are worth doing, especially when no one else believes in you. That's where everything changes. Not with applause or attention, but with a simple commitment. I'm not giving up. There comes a moment in everyone's journey when distractions scream louder than purpose. The world tempts you with comfort, shortcuts, and noise. And it's in these moments, not in your victories, that your direction is decided. Because anyone can stay focused when things are easy. But those who rise above are the ones who remain aligned when everything around them pulls in opposite directions. Hard work acts like a compass during these times. It keeps you anchored to who you want to become, not just what you want to achieve. You begin to realize that mastery isn't built by chasing 100 things. It's built by showing up for one thing again and again, day after day. There's power in being focused, in going deep rather than wide, in doing one thing exceptionally well instead of many things poorly. This type of depth comes when you put in the hours. It's forged in patience, not performance. You learn to delay praise, to delay outcomes, and instead prioritize process. Because the world is full of ambitious people. But the people who actually change things, build things, become great, they are the ones who trade distraction for discipline, who quiet the outside world to listen deeply to their inner voice, and who realize that success doesn't require being everywhere. It requires being consistent here, now, and next. Resilience isn't born, it's built. And often it's built in moments of quiet suffering, the kind no one sees, the lonely nights, the grinding mornings, the small daily battles between what's easy and what's necessary. These are the training grounds for greatness. Your ability to keep going when your energy is gone, your motivation is dead, and the excitement has faded away. That's when resilience kicks in. And it doesn't yell or boast. It whispers, keep going. Resilience is your belief that the climb is still worth it, even when your legs are shaking and your lungs are burning. It's not a feeling of strength, it's the decision to rise regardless. And here's the truth few want to admit: the stronger you become, the quieter you usually get. Because you no longer need to announce your efforts or defend your journey. Your results, built by grind and fire, speak for themselves. You become immune to small provocations. While others blame circumstances, you're too busy building character. While others chase sympathy, you're stacking discipline. And slowly, a shift happens. The challenges don't get easier. You just grow past them. As you do, you realize it wasn't the achievement that refined you. It was the pursuit, the pressure, the process. That's what sharpened your edge. The setbacks didn't slow you. They sculpted you. In a culture where so many focus on image, hard workers focus on substance. They understand that what looks good isn't always what lasts. What attracts attention today might disappear tomorrow. But the person whose identity is rooted in discipline, purpose, and relentless effort. They're building something that can't be faked or broken. You start noticing which parts of your journey are authentic and which ones were built for show. The ego wants fast validation, but your higher self wants real meaning. That's what hard work offers, an anchor to something real. It doesn't guarantee applause, but it guarantees growth. And in a world hungry for recognition, growth is the true rebellion. Because growth is not impressive in the beginning. It's clumsy, humbling, full of mistakes. But the hard worker understands this and embraces it. You begin to value your scars, not hide them. Because these scars show you didn't just talk about effort. You lived it. You sweated for it. You fell, bled, got up, and kept moving. You lost temporary comfort for long-term fulfillment. And perhaps the most empowering shift happens here. You stop fearing hard work and start craving it. Not because you enjoy the pain, but because you love who you're becoming through it. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. Not in the eyes of the world, but in the mirror where truth lives. When you choose action over excuses, presence over distraction, effort over apathy, you cast votes in favor of your higher self. And just like any election, the more votes you cast, the stronger that identity becomes. People often say they want change. They set goals and dream big dreams. But real change isn't built in inspiration. It's built in repetition. And repetition only survives under discipline. It survives when you do the work with no applause, no shortcuts, no guarantee of praise. That's how standards are built, quietly, privately, permanently. And here's the shift that makes that discipline easier to hold on to. Don't just think of hard work as something you do. Think of it as someone you are. Because when it becomes your identity, you no longer need motivation. Showing up becomes automatic. And showing up over and over is the root of every breakthrough. Maybe the world won't notice, maybe no one will clap. But deep down, you'll feel it. That powerful internal confidence that says, I don't quit on myself. And that belief is worth more than motivation will ever be. The journey of sustained effort unlocks something remarkable. It reveals that progress is less about speed and more about staying. Staying when it's boring. When it's repetitive. When there's no flashy result to show your sacrifice. Most people leave the path too early. They're in love with outcomes but allergic to process. But if you truly commit to the path, with no plan B, no backdoor, no exit strategy, you begin to discover a version of yourself that's unstoppable. And here's the irony, the longer you delay reward, the more worthy of it you become. Every day you choose discipline over delay, you widen the gap between your past self and your future success. You realize the reason some people never rise isn't because of lack of talent. It's the refusal to stay. Stay in the habit. Stay in the discomfort. Stay in the climb. It's not about how fast you go. It's about not stopping, one decision at a time, one workout, one study hour, one extra mile, one sacrifice. These micro decisions forge your future in silence, until suddenly one day everything speaks. And not just with success, but with strength, character, and deep-rooted confidence that you are exactly where you are, because you refused to quit when it was hard to stay. One of the greatest myths about hard work is that it means sacrificing joy. But the truth is quite the opposite. When you're committed to effort, purpose, and discipline, something unexpected happens. You discover a deeper kind of happiness. Not the shallow, fleeting kind that comes from comfort or distraction, but the kind that comes from becoming someone you're proud of. Joy that comes from alignment, from knowing you didn't take the easy way out, from knowing you stayed loyal to your mission even when no one noticed. This joy isn't loud. It won't get likes or shares, but it anchors you. It fuels you. It makes the struggle meaningful, not just bearable, but beautiful. You start seeing challenge as growth, not punishment. Discipline as freedom, not pressure. You feel centered in a way that external success can never provide. And while others search for happiness in outcomes, you find it in the effort itself. You begin to wake up not to chase happiness, but to express it through your work, your dedication, and your quiet honor to your goals. It turns the mundane into meaningful. And suddenly, hard work is no longer what you're running from. It becomes the lifestyle you're choosing every day without regret. There is a strength no failure can touch. The strength of a person who shows up again and again, regardless of outcome. Your effort over time becomes your armor. Life will test you. You will face rejection, disappointment, unfairness. But those who've built themselves through hard work don't just survive, they rise. Why? Because discipline doesn't only prepare you for success, it prepares you for adversity. Every failure faced head-on adds another layer to your resilience. Every moment you don't give up teaches your mind that you can endure more than you once believed. This is why true confidence doesn't come from easy wins. It comes from battles fought in darkness, from getting back up after you fall, from continuing to move forward while others stand still, waiting for someone to carry them. You, the hard worker, learn to carry yourself. You become your own answer, your own source, your own power supply. You stop waiting. You stop hoping someone else will rescue you. You've already rescued yourself through your effort, your choices, and your self-belief. And that becomes unshakable strength, the kind that lasts through any storm. A community doesn't rise through talent alone. It rises through the invisible impact of those who lead by example. The teammate who never gives less than their best. The parent who keeps showing up for their kids despite exhaustion. The student who studies in silence while others scroll. These people may never get headlines, but they shape the world through their endurance, through their example, through their decision to do the work even when it's unnoticed. Hard work creates a ripple effect. People might not say anything, but they feel it. You give others permission to believe again, not because you shouted, but because you didn't quit. That quiet determination becomes a standard. It shifts energy. It changes conversations. And suddenly your grind becomes someone else's inspiration, not because of what you said, but because of what you refused to walk away from. That's the power of unseen consistency. It's contagious. It's magnetic. It leads without position or authority. That is legacy, not what you leave behind, but what you light up in those still trying to find their path. Your discipline might just be the spark someone else was waiting for. Perfection isn't required. What's required is effort. Daily grounded, focused effort. You don't need to be the best. You don't need to have the highest potential. You simply need to take responsibility for your progress and keep showing up. And the moment you stop comparing your journey to others, something powerful happens. You reclaim your power. You start measuring based on consistency, not competition. You stop waiting to feel ready and start acting intentionally. You realize that success isn't a finish line, it's a way of walking, a way of living. You begin to own your mornings. You begin to set boundaries. You begin to speak, walk, and think like someone with standards. Not for applause, but because you've chosen self-respect again and again. Over time, your life begins to reflect that choice. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but undeniably. You look back and realize that all those moments of doubt, boredom, fatigue, they didn't stop you. You didn't wait for clarity or confidence. You built both through discipline. And when people ask how you made it, you'll smile quietly and tell them, one hard day at a time, I just didn't quit. Every drop of sweat, every early morning, every lonely grind, it counts. It wasn't for nothing. It was for the version of you that's now standing taller, walking straighter, and daring to dream even bigger. You didn't just get stronger. You became strong through muscle, through mindset, through moments when giving up felt easier. But you chose to fight anyway. You chose to rise. You chose the long road when shortcuts were everywhere. The disciplined road when distractions were louder. And now, when you speak, your words carry weight, not because you're loud, but because you lived it. Your actions hold power not because they were perfect, but because they were consistent. And if you're still climbing, still pushing, know this, you're not behind. You're building something that will last. Something no crash can erase, no critic can discredit, no shortcut can replicate. You don't owe the world an announcement. Your work is your voice, and trust me, the world hears it, loud and clear. So if this message touched something inside you, if it ignited even a spark, don't let it fade. Embrace it, live it, grow through it.